Ruler School is brought to you by Odyssey Games, where you can go to get singles for all your Force of Will and other trading card games, as well as these amazing patrons.
Thank you for your support. Enjoy the video.
All right, so this is a Loki. It doesn't look like a Loki, but it's a Loki.
It's a
I swear.
Ploki.
So we are back to Rogue on Rogue action. We have Steven, our 5th place 2019 Worlds competitor, versus Derek on his Brunhild Esper, who we are finding is currently crippled with a irritated throat, from what I'm being told, and arthritis. He did say arthritis.
Arthritis.
He did. He said his joints
What?
were killing him and he had a tickle in his throat. So
And don't say shit like that. You can make my back hurt.
I can feel it in my knees. The rain is coming. So finally, Derek, turn 1 Layla. All right. Now, Loki hitting turn 1 Blackstone is totally fine. This Loki list should be playing 8 Blackstones and 4 of the Light Vapors. So we're not super hellbent on the blue. We'll get there eventually. We're mainly a black deck. So this deck is very streamlined to do Perfect Loki Athenia things.
Layla.
So do what?
Layla.
Layla. So, invitation. Are we just going to do what we did last time? Double Satan, double Fallen Angel? Alright.
Yeah. We're just going. Might as
Simple
well.
game plan.
Do the thing.
Which I don't have a problem with that. Seeing the other 2 Fallen Angels in hand, though. Very interesting. So let's see. So Steven first want to get to an altar. Very threatening. You probably kill the Layla in response to altar cast. With 1 blue
Probably.
energized, there's really nothing that he can do about it, right? That's what your playline would be?
I would think so. But nothing happens.
Nope. Sack the altar. Derek did forget his Satan counters.
Oh yeah, they start with 1 each.
I'm trying to think of what else he would want to hold on to these for. I believe keeping altar
Keeping mana
off
transmuters
of. I mean, maybe mana transmuters, yeah. But I mean, I gotta altar at 1 counter though. Like I've very much enjoyed Dark Alice off of altar with 1 counter, and I don't know.
Dallas.
Oh, there we go.
Go for Return of God.
So
Or
essentially, if we land
Athena.
Athenia here, Athenia recover 3, and then we're off to the races. Which, the understanding is that 7 times out of 10 you're hitting Athenia.
And
Ta-da!
ta-da!
Ta-da! And
hate
now, so this
I
thing's
hate it.
so now do you burn both of these things to kill that?
I mean, that's obviously the play, right? Before he gets untapped.
I think it could be. I honestly, I don't. It feels super suboptimal to do anything right now.
Yep, he's doing it.
All right. So, is there anything you do with the altar?
Go find a Dallas.
Like, go find a
Sack the
Dallas and
Athenia
what
to
though?
Dallas.
You know what I mean?
Sack the Athenia to Dallas. Draw cards.
Yeah, or you just stay at 2 counters, recover 3 stones, and continue with your turn. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't really know. I mean, especially. Yeah, I mean, honestly, that's probably a
Awakened
pretty
March.
fine turn for him.
Oh, you can't awaken March right now. Never mind. Ah!
March of the Dead for a
I said
for a
March
Layla.
and he just did it.
So we're just gonna ramp a country mile here.
Jesus Christ.
My goodness, sack Layla to the altar, get another Athenia, or did you? Like, what would you have done there? Like, sack. So like, you could get another Athenia here, but like.
Part of me wants to go even harder and ramp toward the 5-drop Athenia, but we're not playing that.
I mean, yeah. But like, I feel like.
We went for a mana transmuter with it.
Which is totally fine. 4 cards in grave. Look of Corruption. Play another Athenia from hand. Jesus Christ. Probably rip that.
Take that, Ploki. Rip that, Ploki.
I mean, probably the Bewildering Charm. Like, you're not playing anything that's ever going to get Light of Sacred Spirit, so, like, you're fine there. Ploki's a long ways away from doing anything. You know what I mean? But that bounce.
Yes.
That bounce draw. I don't know. Yeah, because, like, bouncing a mana transmuter, like, wouldn't feel good. Like, you have a lot of broken inner effects, but, like, a mana transmuter having to redo that 3-will is kind of investing. I think that's probably what he's thinking about. He's thinking between the Perfect Loki and the Bewildering Charm. Because, like, you don't put either one of those dorks in there, and the light doesn't do anything, so... I'm on the Bewildering Charm.
I love
Boom.
Sacred Spirit so much, but it just does nothing against Ploki decks.
Boom. It doesn't, and this was my argument against the card, but like knowing that Zeus Alice is woof. Okay, so he didn't have the Athenia in hand, but he can go search for a 4-drop.
We're just gonna go for another Return to God. Let's go.
Let's go. And I mean, knowing that like he can potentially get another Athenia online, what I am concerned with is 2 cards in hand. That's weird. 2 cards in hand is pretty weird. You know what I mean?
Yep. And I wonder what other 12 cards he's seen off the Return of Gods.
He has done a shit ton in this turn, though. Like,
Freed into a stemma.
I mean, he yes, that's an option.
That is an option.
Or
You paid with a mana transmuter for the Return of God, right?
do what? Yeah, he did the mana transmuter
Mana
for the return.
Return of God.
Yep. So what are we getting here? Perfect Loki just to have it in hand.
Does he want a judgment next turn? He can't.
I can't. He's got to hit a blue stone.
Kidding. Ah, dude, just play another mana transmuter.
Rips an altar though. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. No blue sources yet. Oh. All right. So what do you do here? If you cast the altar, Perfect Loki probably comes down while it's on the chase. Just because if you keep altar at no counters for this turn, I don't think there's anything Derek does to recover from that. Even if you give Derek 2 stones here, like Power of Immortality might happen.
I would still just play the Ploki anyway and make Derek take 16, 20, 22 next turn.
Yeah. I mean, I think for sure Perfect Loki comes down here, but I'm trying to figure out what Derek does with this play line. I think Derek Power of Immortalities to try to get stones going so that he gets into blue faster. That would be my guess.
I would have tried playing the Fallen Angels instead, to be honest. Just to get them out of my hand.
I mean, maybe. I mean, it was just on 3 will. On 3 will during Derek's turn, he couldn't do enough to answer, just how quickly this got out of control. You know? So, ramping a stone... Okay. So maybe there was an argument to spend... No, because he's got Power of Immortality still. You're not killing anything on his board.
Yeah, I'm just freed into... I don't know.
No, there's literally... I don't think there's anything Derek does here. Just the board he was able to develop and still has interaction. Still has plenty of interaction. If Derek... his board is just... It was developed with so much more will than you can interact with. You know what I mean? So, on his 3 will, he just couldn't do enough. He was definitely in the wrong colors. So, 1 free from the altar.
Esper Brunhild just isn't built to take on Ploki.
I mean, honestly, I don't know what is.
In general, I just don't think this is a very good matchup.
I'm gonna be honest, I don't know what is. That's the problem. Do you see everything that just happened on turn 2? You can't Kaguya that. You can't Misty Woods. You can't do anything, and that is Perfect Loki and Athena. Your whole grave deck is thrown out the window. That's the other tier 1 deck, right? I think Perfect Loki Athena is still the best thing that you can be doing in Force of Will right now, so
it's very good.
We'll be hard pressed to think anything other than that, so just got rid of the grave.
If the Ploki deck goes second right now, it is very strong. They don't care if they hit a Blackstone.
No, he doesn't only play Blackstones. He plays 8 Blackstones, and he plays 4 of the Light Vapors. So remember what I talked about is some players don't call a stone at the very beginning. They'll do it later in their turn. Yeah, that's Steven.
Swing first, free.
I mean, well, I always call a stone first. Even when I'm swinging, I'm just if I don't know. I don't know. With Melgus, I've been getting a little bit better on just
swing first.
I always leave Melgus untapped for a little bit.
Blue stones.
All right. So still have Power of Immortality. Still have if we had another altar right now, that would be pretty gross. Return of God. For what? We're still just on 3s and 2 drops, right?
I think he's just going. Because he can't beat Odin's Judgment next turn. I think
Not the way it sits right now. He can get Satan, though.
I mean, he can get Satan. Yeah, I guess. I'd be right on that, and I'd just Power of Mortality in my Mana Transmuter, sack my Layla and my Mana Transmuter, and be done with it.
So this Dark Alice will be good. So now we're on Perfect Will. Perfect Will back up to 3 cards in hand. Yeah, very effective use of Dark Alice there. Smooth. Very smooth. Steven's playing this deck very smooth. So I guess looking at Satan's now, there actually was an argument there to play the Fallen Angels into the Perfect Loki. Just to get like the pay some life triggers. Help! Help!
Murder!
Murderer! Revenge for PA. So we got a Satan. We got a Satan that we can do for 5. If we absolutely had to, like, play a Fallen Angel, sack it to altar, 200 life, play Satan for 5.
What forced him to banish?
Just, like, literally, you could just do...
We just sacks his board to altar.
I mean, it would probably do a Mana Transmuter and Perfect Loki.
I mean, I'd just sack the board to altar.
Actually, no, you would just Power of Immortality. One of
Yeah.
the things that you're banishing.
Power of Mortality, the Athenia.
Alright. So, double Fallen Angel of Fiery Vengeance.
No.
Oh, I didn't even realize. When did Steven get an altar on board?
Last turn.
So he's got Power of Immortality.
Yeah.
He's got Power of Immortality
Yeah, it
on the
sounds like they
Perfect
just sack
Loki.
it to altar. Just sack the board to altar.
Oh my goodness. No, he's got... This is
That's
silly.
why he was like, help, murder.
This is silly. He's got so many options right now. This is gross.
It's just scoop. It's not worth it. Scoop.
I'm gonna put Derek to bed quickly. It's what's happening right now.
Put the sick man to bed.
Put Derek to bed
Put the sick
quickly.
man to bed.
I don't know what Derek's trying to think about here. Ah, so pass turn. And opting to draw a card. So not trying to do any shenanigans. I feel like I would have tried to wipe the board or something. I mean, any of these land, though. Like, you swing Perfect Loki, and then in response to no blocks, like Power of Immortality. Or, like, there's just... He's got lethal 10 ways to Sunday. There's no way he loses this. Plays another Perfect Loki from hand.
Jesus Christ.
What a dick. Yeah, there's nothing he was doing. Night. Night, Derek. Round 2. Let's go. Sacking things to do stuff. Got a feeling that Derek's trying to kill himself somehow to just like take the satisfaction away from his opponent. Classic.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Classic. Self-mutilation to
Just scoop.
to
Scoop.
Yeah, Steven's been piloting this deck for a while now. I mean, or at least variants of this. Like this soft lock with Perfect Loki Athenia has just always been something that's been in the back of our mind. And then like the stuff from last format where we were just sacking Laylas to altars to ramp stones to get into broken the Return of God plays have really just kind of shrunk down because you just don't get greedy anymore. There's no reason to play the 5-drops. There's no reason to play any of the big stuff, you know, to like hit big off of your returns. Literally, you need Athenia and you need Perfect Loki and you'll win the game. So, damn, got him. Athenia's love out of the rune deck. Harvest and Corrupt. Banish your last blocker and all my stuff's eternal. Okay. Scoop.
I'm done. Nope,
Scoop.
we're done.
Scoop.
We're done.
Moving on. 5 minutes
End it.
to not move on to the next game. It's very hard. It's very hard to talk through this. This game was over many turns ago.
This game was over.
Now, I will say, though, I will talk on this because of how quickly that first game happened, right? So, like, if we look at this, right, 24 minutes, okay? So, 24 minutes with online play, like, this could have happened a lot faster in public. So, what I will say is that there is something to be said to where if you understand your deck and you understand how to play your deck fast and efficient, if you are going to lose game 1, there are 2 things, right? There's a lot of people that have talked about just scooping right away to get to game 2, but right now, by doing it this way, you're getting more information about your opponent's deck. That way you know more of the play lines going forward, right? The more the opponent is willing to show you, the better right now. So we're saying Power of Immortality out of the Rune deck, but technically you haven't seen it. You don't actually know if he's playing that card. This Athenia's Love out of the Rune deck, same concept. Like, you didn't know that was there. And by just dragging this game out a little bit and forcing these play lines so that he legit kills you and not just you fast track to where you know you're dead, you're seeing some of these cards that you wouldn't have seen before. So when you have a more competitive game into, you know some of the outs that you're playing for, right? So it's a balance. You got to understand how fast your deck goes versus wanting to see the most out of your opponent as you can, right? Goes both ways, right? So that's just something that you got to know in like a tournament setting. You know, how much are you trying to learn before you need to like just get so that you win, you know? So essentially what happened there is we sacked the second second pad and then just burned both of the things to kill the Athenia in response to the Athenia's Love trigger. Go get a Dark Alice, draw, or wait, what did we get off of? Alter, Dark Alice, draw, discard a stone, draw. get nothing. Just lose. So yeah, this should be over. Oh. So I don't know why Dark Alice is tapped. I don't think it needs to be tapped, but it hasn't done anything to be tapped. But oh, actually, this is interesting. He still has to sack the Dark Alice. Because like in the only way for the second of the oh no, he let it resolve, then does the okay. Let it resolve, then do the sacrificial altar trigger. Whispers going up to 8 or going up to 14. Drawing another card, trying to get some answer. Yep. I don't know what his one answer he was looking for though, but that was actually pretty good. He dragged that out for as long as he could to try to see the most that he could. But then in turn though, the other thing that you got to do there is you're showing some of your play lines to your opponent, right? So, like, right there, he whispered. Like, he went for a Dark Alice off of a trigger to pitch to whisper, to draw a card, hoping for an out in that situation. So, there's a huge difference between knowing that an out exists and actually searching for it, or just running through all of your actual plays to see if something comes. You know what I mean? And in game 1, that would have been something that I don't think I would have done. Once I had done enough to see out of my opponent and I knew that I was done, like I wouldn't have shown that much. You know what I mean? So like I'd have probably kept Whispers concealed, because I didn't show my opponent Whispers. That 800 life has saved Derek before. It wasn't going to save him then. And so, like, I'd have kept that concealed. But these are all things that, like, you would just... that just kind of are things that you think about for, like, competitive tournaments and stuff. They're not things that I expect, like, for people to, like, do during these kind of gauntlets or anything like that. Because, like, when we're testing, we're trying to look at this from many, many angles than how we play in a competitive tournament. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want to go into testing and bring some of your mental strengths into the testing arena. You know what I mean? Like, proving that you were able to mental your opponent in testing doesn't prove that your deck is statistically better than your opponent's deck. You know what I mean?
You're a better player than your opponent.
Yeah, that's all that you've done. And you haven't really done any of the real testing that you need at that point, right? So like, very rarely are you going to be in a situation where like the people that you're testing with are on an equal caliber as you are. You're gonna face people that are better, and you're gonna face people that are worse. You know, everyone has their strengths and weaknesses, right? So when you're testing, you got to really do your best to make sure that you are looking at it from a statistical data analysis kind of way, right? So mentaling your opponent in testing is not one of them, you know? So these are all things that I'm saying. They're not things that I would expect for both of these guys to be doing right now, but these are just things that I want to communicate with you guys of like things that can happen in competitive tournaments, things that you can do to give yourself an edge. You know, every percent counts when you're in the actual competitive scene, and the mental battle between you and your opponent is a lot of 1%. A lot of 1% that add up. So, you know, take it with a grain of salt, practice what you can, and, you know, enjoy it. Trading card games on a competitive level are amazing. It's an amazing, fun war of wits. And, so yeah. So Derek not giving Steven the chance to get that blue energize. So, a turn 1 tree out of Steven here. So this thing pretty suboptimal without an Alice or without an Athenia on the field, because A, you can't produce Will without an Athenia, and B, you didn't get Harvest and Corrupt without Athenia, right? So I don't think his hand was the best. I don't know what happened, but it does not look the best.
Well, doesn't matter. We hit Bluestone.
He did, but he hasn't ramped into anything, so like we're not gonna see anything super crazy out the gate. Definitely running more of the control route. We're gonna rip that altar though. That altar's gone. Good hit. Look of Corruption is still a super powerful card in this format. If you're running a black deck, if it's not in the main, it has to be in the sideboard. I'm just telling you guys straight up. I love that card. So Derek probably just owned the invitation play here, seeing what happens when shit gets out of control on the last game. I think he feels like this will probably be in a better situation this time. So we'll see. I don't know if you go turn 3 here.
I think it just goes the 1.
Like, I actually, no, you probably could. You could probably go turn 3. Turn 3, Return of God into an Athenia, floating a Will to go into 4 Will with an 8/8. So yeah, I think it could still happen here. I think that's still very much a play line.
I'm waiting for the Return of God because it exists. Can we get Dawn of Earth back?
I will say though, Derek is in a super controlling position right now, because what ends up happening is you have your Life-Severing Blades are online right now. Even though they don't look it, what happens is you've got the Fiery Angel of Fallen Vengeance in your graveyard that you can pay 2 life to shoot a Layla, ramp a stone, and use that stone to Life-Severing Blade. So he's got 2, like that little combo there, ramps him a stone and kills a Resonator. The issue that I'm seeing right now is that I don't see a lot of draw power after this. You know what I mean? One Satan in hand, another Satan over here. We're still a ways away from that. I don't know. So the interesting thing about this has always been with getting Athenia early on turn 3 on curve without having to pay the 3 will, you always still have that 1 will up for the Power of Immortality or whatever kind of interaction that you need, right? So like playing Athenia 1 cost cheaper is just busted.
Alright, so I actually have a question since I wasn't around when you
What's
guys
up?
were building this. Why Brunhild over Lucifer other than just for Blade of Fate?
I honestly think it's just Blade of Faith. If I had to guess, I'm positive it's just Blade of Faith, which I mean is a fantastic concept. Brunhild's the best J ruler, period. Right, 12/12 flying, reanimate, awesome. No interaction with it either, except for Grave, right? So still the best J ruler, and then B having 4 instances of remove from the game. On like the Zeus Alice and all that stuff, like that's also still super powerful. So I think that was the concept that he was going with, right? And so like as we're testing these things, like so like the deck I'm running in OLS this week is a Lich Athena Loki altar deck, you know. So it's Athena and Perfect Loki and the whole altar shell, but we're playing Lich to see if the value we get off of the Lich Resonator is worth giving up Perfect Loki's Judgment, right? If being in black runes is just better than blue or anything along those lines, right? So like what we're doing is we're taking these shells, right? These shells that we know that are good, and we're trying to put them in these different bodies to see like, all right, this ruler can bring this to the table. How does that compare to what it was already doing in these other builds, right? And that's all this Brunhild list is doing. Is just trying to figure out if for Blade of Faith and a busted J ruler is like powerful enough to where this is the shell it needs to be in, you know? It was the same thing everybody was doing with the altar decks when we had them, right? Hanzo, Loki, Brunhild, Lucifer. Everybody was running a shell, the shell, in a different deck. So I think that's why we're at where we're at. So Steven landed the Athenia, floated a black, and has now been thinking about his turn going from here. He's effectively at 5 will, because now this Sephiroth is online. So he's got 5 will, an uncancelable something, which is super important in the Kaguya match. Super nice. So, also, the cool part about that is it's another edition, right? So if you don't see... What did he do? Oh, I removed Grave and he's thinking. Because he shot his Laylas? That's how the Laylas got in the grave? Shot his Laylas, then you remove the Laylas with the floating black? There wasn't really a lot to think about there. So we've got 2 life-severing blades, but man, those aren't gonna feel good. So moving in is his turn, not taking advantage of the life-severing blade at that point. Going into 5 will with a Satan and woof. No sack outlet on the Athenia though, kind of makes a Blade of Faith pretty good here. Really kind of screwing up with the... How in the hell are you doing this, Steven? God damn, you're making awesome things. So Blade of Faith on the Energize, not hitting white though, so like this is the only chance he has at this Athenia. Trying to think what kind of interactions we could potentially have with this. No interaction. Freed from the altar. Probably grabbing a Stemma Mana Transmuter for the Dark Alice. Couldn't tell you. Couldn't tell you. I mean, I feel like drawing cards is what you want to do. But not seeing white is an issue, so I think he's probably on the Mana Transmuter. Yeah. Yeah, Mana Transmuter is kind of where you need to go here. He'll probably play it, use 3, maybe play his Whispers right now. I don't know. His opponent's left up interaction, so you don't want to get like too greedy, because if he answers the Mana Transmuter during your turn, so like if he did it if Steven answered the Mana Transmuter during Derek's turn in response to him producing the white for like a Whispers or something, then you risk losing your Mana Transmuter and not being able to Dark Alice, right? So I think Dark Alice is the important piece here in all of this, right? So that's why Derek just passed his turn. So instead of trying to take advantage of getting white in both turns, he's wanting to make damn sure he at least gets Dark Alice, right? So Steven didn't do anything with all of his will. I expected with the white stone floating that a Dark Alice was going to hit, but it does not look like that is the case. So Mana Transmuter coming down for Steven as well. If I had to guess, we're probably... No. We don't have anything in the grave. I was thinking Freed for the Altar from a Perfect Loki, but... I don't know. Freed from the Altar for a... Freed for a second Mana Transmuter, so already kind of projecting that his Mana Transmuter is not going to survive this turn, probably because he's staring at the 2 Life-Severing Blades that are revealed. Understands that if Dark Alice does come down, probably draw, banish. Are we doing stone stuff right now? We might not be doing stone stuff right now. So definitely discarding definitely discarding the Satan. He's probably thinking about just doing the Dark Alice. Since his grave has already been thrashed, he really doesn't need it, so he just needs the cards in his hand. Life-Severing Blade on the Mana Transmuter. We'll see how much Steven cares about the Mana Transmuter. Not enough to save it. So essentially just baiting out cards at this point. Steven's done a very good job of controlling Derek's hand. Derek doesn't have a lot of threats. He's got Satan, but with the early removal of the grave and nothing crazy going on in here. Got double Satan. Hey, hitting them white sources now. Probably swinging with the 6/7. Ah, leading with this Dark Alice. I don't know what he values here. Probably he's just going to pitch the Dark Alice again just to draw a second card to see if anything's worth pitching. It might get rid of a stone. Opted not to keep the Blade of Faith. Altar's pretty good here.
Feels like he's not gonna have enough white to use it well.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, yeah. Yeah, because the blue that he needs for Perfect Loki is locked on the white, so it's pretty interesting. What's going on, baby? Welcome to the stream. So yeah, we're
Morning men, I think. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think it is morning for him, right? 6 a.m. Have you been to bed, or are you just waking up? Or wait, that's the same answer. Have you? have you been to bed, or are you just waking up? There you go. So opted to sack the Dark Alice on that last decision whether to pitch. Plays the altar. Oof. This is a very interesting game. Yeah, 6 a.m. my time. I finished my night work. There's the Dark Alice. Yeah, I expected that a couple turns ago. I think. Ooh,
Is that a Ploki?
1, 2.
It's a Ploki. And I am so sorry. I'm being so quiet. I'm just control matchups.
Yeah, no. I'm with you. Interesting. So gonna ramp the stone, gonna get rid of the Dark Alice. Going to then what though? We've only negged the board for 6. Is that where we're at? 6.
Which kills both things on board, right?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, he doesn't have any response to this. He doesn't have any free interaction, so I don't know what they're thinking about. I think Derek's
Also, what I can see is
holding.
that Derek's like out of cards.
Well, Derek's holding priority for something. He's got this other will he's doing something with. Power of Immortality on. Why?
Perfect Loki.
Just to do it again? To completely nick the board? So it's a minus 12.
I'm confused.
It's a minus 12 now. So like essentially he's done all this while maintaining priority. So that way there's going to be a neg 6 followed by a neg 6. So it's going to be neg 12 on the board when Dark Alice enters. But I don't know why. I don't know why Derek thought it was important to make sure that 12 was the number. Unless we are really wanting to get a Dark Alice again. God, he loves these 1 mana Dark Alices. He loves these 1 counter altars. Alright, so it hasn't gone anywhere. We got our thing. Dark Alice trigger, draw, discard. Probably doesn't go for a stone right now.
I almost fell asleep in my chair.
So he pitched the mana transmuter that he searched off of with the freed for the altar. That's interesting. So he spent 1 will last turn to find another mana transmuter because he really wanted it super bad. And then now he doesn't want it super bad.
Is 15 minutes past when Dalton's was gonna play? Not Dalton, fucking Dylan.
Do what?
We're running a little bit over.
Honestly, it's not even this match. It was the machines. This one's gone an hour, but it's been. So opting to pitch the mana transmuter. There's really nothing that Perfect Loki does on this turn, because 12 is just too big. Nothing really comes into play, so like maybe, hopefully, he has some additions to play. And then are we playing anything out of the rune deck? We already freed, so like, are we sculpting anything? Is there an invitation in the rune deck for the Perfect Loki? How did that get banished?
I don't know what happened.
Hold on. Let me interfere.
What?
Let me interfere.
Okay.
Hey, real quick.
Yeah, what's up?
How'd you banish that tree?
The Dark Alice.
Got it. Dope. You're awesome. You're the best player ever.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
No problem.
Dope. Dark Alice.
Oh, it was part of Dallas spec. Okay.
Perfect.
Understand it.
Because that tree was doing shit.
Yeah.
That tree was doing nothing.
This
So-
game is doing nothing.
So that was pretty good. So pitched a mana transmuter and then pitched Sephiroth. So what are we doing? Called a stone, didn't hit second blue, so no judgment is happening. Spoiler alert: this deck is playing Neo Ragnarok. So yay!
Wait, what?
Yeah, yay! I mean, it does nothing against this deck because Odin's Judgment and flipping Satan, or actually Satan wouldn't do anything, but Odin's Judgment would kind of put an end to giants. All right. So Esper is a magic term. Back in one of the sets that came out, I believe it was Phyrexian or something along those lines, of Fifth Dawn. In that set, they created these clans or whatever that were all 3-color based, right? And so some of the 3-color models for Magic have the clan names, right? So like whenever you talk about 2-color decks, you use stuff from Ravnica, like red-green is Gruul, red-green is Gruul, red-black is Rakdos, blue-white is Azorius. And Esper is a 3-color archetype with black, white, and blue. And that is usually Esper is a very control color in Magic, so Esper control decks are just, as I was singing earlier, it's just a lot of board wipes and draw cards. Board wipes and draw cards, and so that's kind of where this has got its thing from. It's in those colors.
I'm gonna sit here and play my Boros deck with happiness.
My Boros. Boros is red-white, so. Which honestly, like the red-white in Force of Will is a lot like Boros in Magic, like the kind of beefy soldiers, but that also gain life. And
Lightning Helix.
Lightning Helix is the what is that? The twin something of fiery.
It's literally we had Lightning Ray.
Yeah, we had Lightning Ray, but then
twin-
like our
twin
newest
adders.
one is the Twin Adders.
Matter.
Yeah, that's Lightning Helix. So a little pokey poke here from Derek.
Damage actually happened?
Oh yeah.
It wasn't paying life?
Oh yeah. Oh man, so what is in the removed area right now? This Raise and Revive could have done some work. Nothing too crazy in there though. 2 Laylas. Raise and Revive on a Layla. Raise and Revive Layla, sack to alter. Oh, that's cheeky. Got some Erendites. Alright. We got a game.
Do we?
I'll be right back.
Don't leave me, no. Oh no. Oh boy. We got 2 Scorch Bales, 2 Light Vapors, and some bunch of Black Stones. I'm not sure what's happening on Derek's turn. We did swing, so we got damage happening. With 2 Erendites, a Raise, and Life Severing in hand, I don't think much is happening unless he wants to go for a Satan, which I don't think is a great idea. I don't know what goes on in this turn, and apparently
Wait, what?
Derek. I had
Alright.
to talk. You left me alone. I had to talk.
Alright, so life total has changed. Yay. But then literally
I have
nothing
no
happened
idea
from
what's
that.
gonna happen right now, because I'm like, you don't Satan this turn. You don't do like something.
Yeah, there's really
Swear to
not.
God. I swear to God. Don't you dare. Don't no.
I mean, he's just gonna Dark Alice. Or he's gonna get
What even?
Satan.
Hey.
And doesn't matter.
We're Erendited.
Got him.
I can't Erendite your Erendite. Oh fuck.
So past turn, fine though. He's got Raise and Revive. Like, I like how he's even got his stones separated here. Like, here's my Raise and Revive mana. Here's my Erendite mana.
I mean, Steven basically got time walk that turn.
Yeah,
He
absolutely.
does nothing.
So
He does
Steven
nothing
has
with
to
this
answer the
turn.
board. How does Steven answer the board? By playing Athena's Love to have you banish a Resonator. That's fine.
Or is it precast Eternal?
Oh
I'm just
god.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Oh god, it was Precast Eternal.
Wait, what?
Was that Precast Eternal?
Wait.
He's not a Swiftness deck. What is he doing? Hold on.
You're not me, no.
Hold on.
Don't do this.
You're just gonna get Raised and Revived. Don't do it. He's probably playing around Ploki.
Oh, yep.
But like that doesn't. Oh
Jesus
fuck.
Christ.
Oops. Hold on. What happens here? What the hell does this turn look like?
Just making sure. Cool. Jesus Christ.
Is Judgment really for 4 on Loki? I thought Judgment was for 3.
Judgment is 4. And you need 2 blue. Play a mana transmuter, Judgment into Loki, put that Perfect Loki on it, and have a good time.
Ugh. So with how long he's thinking about this, he has to have a Dark Alice in hand because the Dark Alice is the only way he's gonna threaten a Judgment, period.
Mana transmuter.
Fuck, you right.
That's what I was saying.
God, but that would be his whole turn.
To flip into Ploki?
Yeah, to flip into Ploki.
Kill Derek's board?
Yeah, but have an altar online, like, and honestly, like, does it though?
Yes. You can't erudite a J-Roller Ploki.
What's
And
the
he
other
mills
thing
10
that
cards.
Ploki does? Something like,
You can play a card from your grave every turn.
but you can like cast it, right? Like it ain't
you
free.
can't just play it for free. Sorry. You can cast a card from your grave every turn.
Is that good enough? Like 6, 7, 8,
He
9.
mills 10 cards, so
Yeah, so it would be 17. And then these 3 would go in. Be at 9. Sacrificial altar. So like his response, man. But he can Athenia a Loki trigger. So that is kind of essentially where we're at right now. Is I'm positive that since this is game 2, that Derek sighted into his 2 Athenias, which means that he can sack 2 of his things to altar, trigger the altar for 3, get an Athenia, and clear his graveyard. But that doesn't change the fact that he still will mill 10. So like
it's 2 different effects though.
It's not.
So one, it is. The neg X and the mill 10 are 2 different enter effects that are stacked in whichever way Steven chooses.
Reveal this card from your hand, put it into the field. Oh, interesting. Okay. Okay, so yeah, no, he'd be super punished. If he tried to go that play around, he would be super punished.
We are 1, 2, 3, 4. Do it.
I think he tapped. I think he's tapping 2 for. I think he's trying to go for.
He's paid 3.
Yeah, no. I'm telling you, I'm thinking he's paid 2.
Are you going for a thing? No, he's paid 3. I'm looking at the actions in the chat window.
Yeah, I'm
He has paid 3 life.
looking at it too. Oh, no. Oh, fuck, he did. Okay. He's missing a stone. Yeah, I'm telling you, Loki only judgments for 2. Loki judgments for 3. I'm positive.
Fucking.
It's this
I got it.
flipping overload.
I'll get it.
You got it?
Loki judgments for 3.
Yep. Yeah. All right,
That's
so
why
not
you're all
tapped
fucked up
out.
with math.
Not tapped out. Have 1 black floating. What are we gonna do with our 1 black floater? That would stop Athenia from wrecking your world. Yeah. So you can never remove graveyard before minus the board. Yeah, you can. You should be able to.
You can.
Yeah.
It's 2 different effects.
Oh, so you can ever. Yeah, I guess you can always. That might be Minha, that might be broken English. If you're trying to tell me that you can always remove the graveyard before the neg, then yeah, you are absolutely right. You can. Ah, so he negged.
Sack to the sacrificial altar.
He sacked everything to sacrificial altar. He didn't side into Athenia. He didn't side into Athenia. Oh, fuck. I thought he had it. Oh, I thought he had it. Shit. Oh. Piss. Okay. That's a big board. Yeah, no, yeah, my bad. I swore Derek would have sided into Athenia. Yeah, I don't know. It would have been very punishing if he had sided into the Athenia. Good on Steven for not showing fear. Being crazy with his awesome calls. Alright. So what are you playing? Raise and Revive on the mana transmitter, end of turn. Okay. Oh, what's some of the big fire left in this deck? Ugh. Got 1 search off of an altar. 4. You're not really getting anything there. I mean, a stemma. A stemma shenanigans. Is there any way to like really get there with a stemma? All you need would be a second stemma and you can get it. So he needs double a stemma. So let's see. Sacrificial altar for first a stemma. Okay. Sacrificial altar for first stemma. Get a stemma. What's his other? Oh, it's the board wipe. Oh yeah, no, this is wonderful. Sack for a stemma. Sack a stemma to altar. Judgment Brunhild. Get second a stemma. Got it. Figured it out. So it'll be the judgment on Brunhild that'll get this second a stemma. Inner trigger. Gain. Burn, and there shouldn't be anything on this 1 black that prevents this from happening. Got it? Got him. Did you get him? And there it is. The classic Astema longbow. One of my favorite
Derek.
moves in Force of Will.
Damn it, Derek.
The longbow. A stemma from long range. Let's go. Oh my goodness. He got there. He
Alright,
absolutely got
We're
there.
instantly playing 2 games, right?
Yep. Yeah, it's 12:30. Erendite. Yep. That removing that mana transmuter. Super essential. Hold on, let me.
It's like he's on
Nope.
I can't play.
Nope.
What?
Nope.
No game 3.
No game 3.
Okay.
No game
Bless.
3. Gotta go play Melgus.
All right.
Yeah. Go play.
Sorry,
Melgus.
buddy. Dude,
No, it's
That
all
was
good.
awesome.
Like,
the stemma long range.
it was.
The stemma long range. Well
Baby.
done, buddy.
Ugh.
Well
GG's,
done.
my guy.
I just
GG's.
needed a better ruler than Loki.
Yeah, if you well,
Wait,
Oh, if I would have been playing my Hanzo list, I would have won.
I did.
Win.
Soul Pile was pretty fucking good. Like,
hold on. Hold on.
What?
Why?
Dude, I mean,
Everything
Feeling
that
Spell's
you
pretty dope.
did, everything that you did in game 1 was because you're Loki.
You're not wrong, but I feel like it still would have. Game 1 was just this nutty.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
what's-
shit was like. I was just like, I never beat this, right?
No, yeah,
And then
you
I tried
don't
to like,
ever.
I tried to like do some like cheeky, funny shit, and I was, yeah, this game's over. But
Yeah.
maybe we can like neg the board enough to like do something, and it's funny.
Yeah.
We couldn't.
I
But, like-
if I was Hanzo, I could have had Perfect Loki easy. Like this, I had to like kind of like work to get there, and it's like
Yeah,
this is-
that don't feel so good, does it?
No, it doesn't.
You
I
want
like
math and Perfect
I want
Loki?
I want the harvesting. And like, give me the harvesting.
I mean, you
Put it
can
in your
still
deck.
play harvesting. Like we're playing
mean, I
Neo
could.
Rag.
I
Like Neo Rag doesn't have to exist.
Yeah, but at that point, like,
I
what's the
mean-
point of judgmenting and using Perfect Loki to put 10 cards in the grave? I could just play Hanzo, or even Lucifer, and
Yeah,
have.
but no, you're.
fifth
It's
rune that's
the
better.
it's the Return of God. That's what
Yeah,
you
return
really care
return a
about.
card is good, but
That
it's like,
shit's busted.
I needed more. I mean, I needed more blue, and not be Perfect Loki.
Yeah,
when
I
need
mean,
to go
yeah.
for it. But,
Like triple black or like all those black sources and then just the one. It's
Yeah.
kind of just like, oh, okay, this is how
I, mean,
untap.
I did have like 3 mana transmuters. So I was like, ugh.
Oh, jeez.
I think it deserves a little bit of attention then. Like to figure out which of these shells needs to be
I don't know.
supreme.
Perfect Loki is on my radar. I'm still figuring out how I want to do it. Not sure if I want to do turbo flip nonsense and then like control from grave, or if I'm trying to do kind of like salt pile nonsense. We'll see.
All right, man. Well, yeah. Let's have Dylan jump in and
Sounds Gucci.
play Melgus, and we'll wrap this bad boy up.
Oh my god, I'm so ready for bed.
I figured
you
you
need,
were.
you need to sleep.